What's up, my dudes? In this video, we're finally putting interior into the S14 after years of being gutted and stripped. Quick backstory on this S14. This thing used to belong to my brother and now I own it. And when he bought it, it was completely gutted and stripped and nothing was in here besides the driver and passenger seat and this blown up dash. So we're going to be putting as much interior back in as we can and bring this thing back to its street glory days. You probably can tell already, but I have a lot of little pieces inside the car already that are just here like for storage. A lot of the like trim pieces and just any small plastic pieces are in here, and all the big stuff is outside. I took it outside, that way I can show you guys what we're working with. And starting off left to right, we're going to start off with this guy right here, the rear speaker cover. It's a little bit rusty, but all this stuff is going to get cleaned up and restored. The carpet is OEM and is from an S14, so it should fit in here no problem. Like I said, everything is going to get washed up. And the center console is really banged up, but not a lot of scratches. It's all just like smudged that I just need to wipe off. And these are the side panels that go on the rear section of the interior. I got two of those. And rear seats, I hit it with a garden hose to get as much as the dirt and filth off as much as I could, but it's still gonna need to be hit with the wet vac to get all those ass juices out. And the dash, this is a new to me dash. It is cracked, but I'll deal with maybe flocking it later. But for now, I do have a cover for it. But at least the airbag section is not blown out. That was the biggest problem that I had with that one in there. It was just, yeah, you could not put a dash cover over it and get away with it because it just bulged out too much. And the glove box is intact as well. Now I gotta give the biggest shout out to Andrew from Enjoy the Goods, because without him this would not be possible. He hit me up telling me that he got an S14 shell and he said all the interiors there, come take what you need. So I was there instantly, and this would not be possible without him, so thank you to Andrew. And he has a YouTube channel now, so go check that out. Obviously, all of this stuff has sat and collected dust and grime over the years, or however long that S14 shell had sat for, so it still needs to be cleaned. And I did hit all this with the hose. The plastic pieces I did scrub with a brush, and now it just needs like another quick wipe down. For the plastic stuff, we are going to be hitting everything with this vinyl fabric spray. I know it says vinyl fabric, but it works really well for any plastic interior pieces. My interior is all done with this, but I think I have it in gloss black, and my interior looks brand new. And as far as anything fabric related, like the seats, the carpet, and some of the interior pieces, kind of like this stuff that I think is for like it's the carpet for the trunk and the side panels, those are like fabric. So for that, we are going to be hitting it with this wet vac. But once that's wet vac and dried out, I am going to be hitting this with this vinyl spray. This is going to be all black, and then I do have like gray spray that's going to go in the middle right here. I mean, I would love to keep the original color of this, but it looks like it's been faded out. Well, I don't know, who knows, maybe once this is wet vac and all this dirt and grime is taken off, maybe it might bring the color back, who knows. But if that's not the case, then I do have like silver dark gray vinyl fabric spray to turn this into that color, and then have this black to kind of make it like a two-tone color and bring these back seats back to life. Underneath the carpet, there was this padding of material, like this material right here, and I ended up taking a lot of it off because it was just covered in dirt, and it was like a sponge for dust and grime. So I took that off as much as I could. This is like I said, I washed all this. It just needs a quick like dusting real quick. And underneath, I am going to be putting 2 layers of this sound deadening. I'm actually going to be using 2 layers of sound deadening. This is going to be the first layer, the thinner one that's going to go on the bottom. This one I mainly want for heat and sound resistance, and this is going to go on the floorboards, and this is going to go like right where your feet go, even on a little bit of the firewall. And then the second layer I don't have with me right now, it's on the way, and that is going to go on top of this. And since that like foam padding was taken out, like there is going to be space for the two. I had a problem when I put sound deadening in my S13. I ended up triple layering that sucker, and it ended up raising the carpet a little too high because the layers were getting too thick. So If you guys are gonna do it, make sure that you don't put on too many layers. That way your carpet doesn't rise up. I'm actually gonna keep the old sound deadening in. There's nothing wrong with it. I didn't want to have to remove it, like just leave it in there. But anywhere where there was exposed metal, I put some sound deadening on there. I even put some in here. That way when I put the bigger sheets of sound deadening, it kind of lays a little bit more flat. That way it's not so much like indented. So this is that thicker layer that I was talking about. I've actually taken off a little bit on the other side and it sticks really well. But either way, I've wiped everything down, so I don't doubt that this will have trouble sticking on. So I have both sides laid down with the new sound deadening. Don't mind all the tools. I was in the middle of taking off the dash. This is what this side looks like. And this is what the other side looks like. Also, if you guys watched the video on the failed install on the short shifter for the RB on the Skyline, this S14 now has that short shifter. Oof. Finally got the dash out, and good riddance, because this thing was such an eyesore. I hated seeing this dash inside of this car, but I do have to remove the airbag. It uses special Torx bolts, so I got to take this out before I can put in the new dash that Andrew supplied to me. But before the new dash goes in, I got to remove all the tools and lay down the new carpet, because I'm going to be wet vacuuming the carpet with it inside and laid down in here. This is the vacuum that I'm going to be using. You put your water and your carpet solution on this side, and this little nozzle sprays out, or this trigger sprays out that solution out through here, and you kind of just like scrub the carpet. And I laid down the carpet that Andrew gave me, but I didn't like set it in where it's supposed to be, because I'm still going to take it out after it's dried so I can spray it with black vinyl spray. All right, my dudes, I've actually gone ahead and done a lot of steps that I didn't end up filming because I just wanted to hurry up and get it over with. So what I did was I ended up wet vacuuming the whole carpet, every little nook and cranny. So that was cleaned, it was dried, and I ended up using vinyl spray and spraying it black. It looks really dull on camera, but in person, it's a lot blacker than it looks. So I'm super happy that it finally has a dark carpet in here. And I also went ahead and used a gloss vinyl spray for the dash, and it looks pretty good. It looks almost brand new, but it does have some cracks, but better than the one I had before with the airbag popping out. I still have to clean and vinyl spray the vents that go here, and on the other side, and after that I can put the cluster in. I have the cluster and everything, and these center pieces, like for the vents, the climate control, all that is here, so it will look pretty close to OEM again. I do have all the plastic pieces that go on the sides and on the back right here, and even the rear seats, but I still have to clean and vinyl spray those pieces before I put them on. And I do have the seat belts, so this thing will have seats in the back and working seat belts. This little wet vac has been putting in hella work, because I've now done my carpet, I've done this, the rear speaker cover, it had cat hair all over it, and it's all clean now. And this thing right here, I actually only used gloss vinyl spray, and this thing looks brand spanking new. I didn't use vinyl spray on this. This was already pretty black enough, and this is like one of the vents to go on the dash. I vinyl sprayed this. Look at that, looks brand new, glossy black. And my rear seats, I also cleaned because they had a lot of cat hair on there, and I made sure to really get in there and use detergent and get all that dirt and grime out. This is the bottom portion, or I'm sorry, no, this is the top portion. And it brought out a little bit of color right here in the middle. This was the most faded part, but I think I'm no longer going to be spraying this with vinyl fabric anymore. I was going to do gray here and then black over here on the outside, and I'm no longer going to be doing that, because when I sprayed the carpet ended up getting like kind of hard, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get loosened up and not hard and brittle over time, like just as my feet go over the carpet and kind of break up whatever vinyl spray hardened over time. But I think I'm just gonna leave this as is because I don't want that happening to this, because that's not gonna be the case with this, where I'm gonna be in the back going in and out and uncrusting that vinyl fabric that has hardened. These pieces that go on the floor, these have been vinyl sprayed, and I still have to clean and scuff up some of this, that way you don't see the scratches underneath. But the center console is in really rough shape, but after I spray some of this vinyl spray goodness, I mean, technically it's meant for vinyl and fabric, but I use this stuff like on any plastic trim and it works great. I don't even use adhesion promoter. People say you gotta put that on first and then put this stuff on. But no, I just spray it on there and it's held up fine. I've used this stuff on pretty much the whole interior on my S13 and it's held up for years. But I still have to wet vac the driver's seat, and I brought home with me the passenger seat. So the passenger seat, it's been sitting in storage, so it's a little dirty, so we gotta wet vac this thing up. And I found these floor mats that my brother had for the longest time. They're just sitting around. These are Garage Moon Power original character floor mats, and I just scrubbed the hell out of them at work, and they look brand new. They look and feel brand new. So we're gonna put these on after all the interior's in. These are the last bits and pieces that needed to be vinyl sprayed, and it makes such a huge difference. All this stuff was scuffed up, scratched, gray, and look how much of a difference it is once sprayed black. Obviously it's not going to take off these super deep scratches, but this thing was in terrible shape. It looked really dull, faded, and I don't know if you guys remember, but this is the center console, and look at the difference that the vinyl spray made. This thing looks brand new. The center console was probably the worst out of the bunch of the plastic interior pieces, and just a couple of coats brought it back to life. I'm really glad that I took the time to wash, scuff, and actually no, I didn't even scuff it. I just like cleaned everything with soapy water and nothing else, and I'm really glad I took the time to do it because this thing looks brand spanking new. And for the interior, these side pieces were also in really bad shape, and just a couple of passes of the vinyl spray brought them back to life. And look at the difference between a OEM door that hasn't been sprayed and this piece that has been sprayed, and as well as the dash. Now this piece looks old, dull compared to these pieces, so I think I might have to take these off and spray these also, because it kind of looks out of place now. Oh, and yeah, this car will have all working seat belts. Those are bolted in. These are bolted in now, and they do retract inward, outward, and same thing for the other side. This side, I just need to find the bolts. The bolts are somewhere over here. I gotta put that on, and it works. And this side too, it finally has working seat belts, because I'm not gonna put a harness and use a harness bar for this car. I just want working OEM seat belts. This metal bracket that holds the in-dash and 3 gauge pods right here inside of the dash, unfortunately only holds 3. And I have 4 gauges, so I'm gonna see if I can extend somehow the water temp gauge. I want the water temp gauge maybe like somewhere right here after I put in this trim piece that I also sprayed and looks brand new. I want the water temp gauge right here because when drifting, I want to be able to look down real quick, read the water temp reading, and then get my eyes back up on the road. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put all the interior back in, because between wet vacuuming and vinyl spraying and putting down the sound ending underneath the carpet, it's taking me so long to do each step. So I'll see you guys once everything is done. All right, my dudes, it's been a couple weeks since the last clip, but I finally got everything put inside. Well, not everything. I wasn't able to grab this piece. It was missing on Andrew's shelf. So this one I'm gonna have to outsource, and I gotta wait till a deal pops up because they're very expensive. The top and the bottom piece are hard to come by, and this center piece, this shifter bezel, I ordered one and it's right here. This is a 3D printed piece, and I'm hoping it looks and fits good because it was a lot cheaper than the OEM one. The OEM one was like almost $200, but it does come with the shift boot, so let's hope it works out. All the interior pieces are in, sprayed, and man, it looks brand new in here. It looks like it just rolled off of the showroom, minus some scratches. And then we have the rear. It's so weird to see this with seats and good looking interior. We have the speaker cover that was sprayed black as well. All that is brand new. Luckily, I don't know if I showed you guys, but my headliner, man, it's too dark, but my headliner is like 10 out of 10 condition. This is like the only thing that was not damaged inside of this car. The seat belts work, driver, the bottom piece right here, and these retract. It has mechanisms inside, covers so you don't see the big old bolt there. These vent pieces are also in. These were sprayed black. They were missing, I think, from a few clips ago, but I ended up putting a dash mat on here. This is a cheap dash mat that I got just to cover up the cracks that were on that side. I may or may not flock it. For now, this looks good. I gotta put some Velcro on it. For some reason, the driver's side seat was missing a seatbelt buckle. The seatbelt buckle on the OEM seat is like bolted onto the seat itself. The passenger side had its buckle, but yeah, like I said, the driver's side didn't, so I had to order one brand new. But luckily, they still make them new from Nissan. They're just very expensive. I think this, after like shipping and everything, was like $60, but I mean, I couldn't find a used one, and I didn't know if I would even trust the used one, because I mean, this is what's going to keep you from flying out the windshield in the event of an accident. But yeah, pretty much all the interior is in here, and I'm geeking right now. I'm super happy to see it with all interior after years of seeing it just sad and stripped and like nothing was going on with this car, and to see it like have all the interior in, man, like I can't stop smiling. And I think I've said this 100 times, but I'll say it 100 more. Thank you to Andrew for supplying everything for this interior. This wouldn't have been possible without him. But that's it for now. The next step for this car is getting it ready for another dyno day. If you guys are new here, this thing has a S14 SR, and I got it tuned maybe like, oh man, it's been like almost half a year ago, but it had a bad T28 turbo. It was on its way out, and I've replaced it with a new T28, S14 to T28, and it's got a Cinco bottom map manifold, and that is gonna need to be retuned. So maybe within the next couple weeks, if I can get myself scheduled in with Danny and Jason from Rival Auto Works, hopefully that can go in soon, so we can finally take this thing to the track. I've actually been dying to try driving an SR, because I haven't driven an SR car in maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 7-8 years. It's been a very long time. So I'm very curious to see what the difference is between just stock SR and the JZ, because I've been driving a 1J for a very long time. But if you guys made it this far, I appreciate you guys watching to the very end, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.